The Champions League draw is now complete. We now have the fixtures that will take place. The games are RB Leipzig versus Manchester City, Club Brugge versus Benfica, Liverpool versus Real Madrid, AC Milan versus Tottenham Hotspur, Eintracht Frankfurt versus Napoli, Borussia Dortmund versus Chelsea, Inter Milan versus Porto, and PSG versus Bayern Munich. Just by looking at that list of fixtures, you can tell we're going to have a good time. We should have a good time watching these games and enjoying these games. But first, let's focus on the English teams, because after all, this is the English podcast, focusing on football. So the game that's going to get everyone talking is simply the Liverpool-Real Madrid game. After facing each other in last year's final, in which Real Madrid won by a solitary goal by Vinicius Junior, they're going to face each other in the round of 16, the earliest stage you could face each other in the knockout stages. Who would have thought? Liverpool finishing second in the group behind Napoli, and Real Madrid finishing top of their group ahead of Leipzig, Shakhtar and Celtic. On paper, this is a game you'd think Madrid will win, simply because of the fact that, let's be honest, Liverpool fans, despite their win over Tottenham Hotspur, everyone beats Tottenham Hotspur, especially if you're a Big Six side, apart from Chelsea, you would have hoped to have an easier game simply because of the fact that maybe Real Madrid are more prepared in this moment than Liverpool are, but at the same time, Liverpool's best performances this season have come in the big games. This tie is probably the diamond tie of the round, the crown jewel. PSG Bayern comes close, a repeat of the 2020 final. But everyone's going to be talking about the Liverpool-Madrid game more than anything else. So we're going to sit back, watch and enjoy. Real Madrid are the favourites, but you would not count out Liverpool, especially in the Champions League. Two of the most historical, two of the most prestigious sides in European football. Real Madrid currently top their league, they've had a couple of dodgy results in recent times in the league and in the Champions League, but they're still a world-class team full of world-class players, and you expect them to go out there and get a result. After all, they are the favourites. But like I said, do not rule out Liverpool. Next, we have AC Milan Tottenham. Now, these two have actually faced each other in a round of 16 Champions League match before. I believe it was Tottenham's first campaign in the Champions League. 2012? Was it? No, it wasn't 2012. It was 2011 or 2010. The emergence of Gareth Bale, if you remember. And Tottenham managed to win that tie, I believe, 1-0 in the second leg at the San Siro, thanks to a Peter Crouch goal, if my memory serves me right. Because I'm just going straight into this, no research in it. I got the knowledge in my brain. Nonetheless, Tottenham won that tie. Tottenham are a lot better now than they were back then. But you could also say that AC Milan, current champions of Italy, are better now than they were back then. AC Milan finishing second in their group behind Chelsea and ahead of Salzburg and Dinamo Zagreb. Well, fancy their chances. Obviously, the league form hasn't been the best, but they're still in the title race over Italy, just a few points behind Napoli like a lot of teams are. And Tottenham, of course, this season have struggled against the bigger teams, but they've done well in certain other matches as well. Obviously, Tottenham on paper, because they're the team that's playing the second leg at home, it means they top their group, obviously, and they are the favourites. But this tie can go either way. It's a 50-50 split, I'll be honest with you. That's just the way it is. AC Milan definitely can beat Tottenham. But Tottenham can look at the games against Chelsea as belief and as a hope, because they were truly outplayed in both those games, honestly. It was quite surprising to see the chasm, the gap between two teams there. And I think if that AC Milan turns up, obviously they're not going to beat Tottenham. But the problem is, Tottenham, have they even played a good game of football at any point this season? That's what it feels like if you listen to the media. Trust me, they've been games where Tottenham have looked very good. The second half against Liverpool will give the fans some hope. And if they produce something like that against AC Milan throughout the two legs, surely they will have a chance to win. It's that simple, right? Sometimes football can be so simple yet so complicated, because to get to that point, it's going to be very difficult. But I think with Conte's Tottenham, they just need to be able to free the shackles a bit and not start games so pedestrian to the point where they're always behind, like what's been happening recently. Because if this happens in AC Milan time, there will be plenty of time to maybe come back. But you want to start on the front foot simply because of the key word momentum. It's all about momentum in these times. Next, we have Borussia Dortmund versus Chelsea. Christian Pulisic's homecoming. Now, this is a time where I think Chelsea have the upper hand in. Despite their weak league form, the weak form recently, Dortmund have been struggling almost as much as Chelsea have, if you look at the league campaign. So just for that, I feel like this tie could go either way. And both these teams could see this as an opportunity to ignite their season if the season hasn't already been lit by the time they face each other. So, all in all, this one's another one that's quite tough to tell. But I think Chelsea might have the upper hand if all their players are back fit and firing again. And Potter can get the right team out there to successfully develop a performance capable of winning the tie. Dortmund, on the other hand, you could say similar. But I feel like this is a tie more in Chelsea's hands, unfortunately. Lastly, for the English sides, we have Manchester City, Leipzig, Manchester City. They faced each other beforehand and in the group stages last year. Obviously, Nkunku put an absolute masterclass, delivered a hat-trick. But obviously, that game didn't matter as I believe Man City won 6-3 or something crazy like that. You know? But, yeah, as we know, Leipzig reached the semi-finals in 2020. Of course, that Leipzig team that reached the semi-finals back in 2020 isn't quite the same team that they are now. Of course, along with Dortmund, they've been up and down in the Bundesliga. It may be slightly worse. I think they stand like 6th or 7th in the league. And you could say that despite having players like Nkunku in their team, they're not quite as threatening as they once were. Man City, I really don't have much to say, just like I didn't have much to say about their group stage campaign. They should win this comfortably. They should win this comfortably, perhaps at a canter even. But let's not completely rule out Leipzig, yeah? They beat Real Madrid, didn't they? Anything's possible. Now, as for the rest of the ties, Club Brugge faced Benfica. Benfica have been richly rewarded for their solid, almost unbelievable campaign in PSG's group by topping that group with a tie against Club Brugge, who probably are one of the more easier sides to face. Obviously, there's nothing as an easy team, but there are easier sides. And I think Benfica will very much settle for Club Brugge over a Liverpool, over a AC Milan, over a bloody PSG. Well, they couldn't get PSG. Inter Milan, sorry. Frankfurt faced Napoli. This could have easily been Tottenham, guys. This could have easily been Tottenham. Thankfully, Højbjerg's last minute goal put paid to that. And instead, Frankfurt will face Napoli. This match, it's a very interesting one. Napoli are winning this game. If Napoli continue on this run of form that they've been in, they're going to win this game. Probably at a canter as well. Napoli have surprised a lot of people, like I said before. Napoli have surprised a lot of people this season. Let's see if they can keep surprising people. If they do, they're going to go far in this tournament. They've been given a favourable tie here. Let's see if they can make it happen and make it work. Sorry, Frankfurt. I know you guys are Europa League champions and all that kind of stuff. And we can't completely rule you guys out because that's what we did when they played against Barcelona and when they played against West Ham last season in the Europa League. And they pulled through. So let's see what magic they can produce this time around in the Champions League. Could they be this year's edition of Villarreal? Now we have Inter Milan versus Porto. Porto, again, topping a group with a big side in it. Atletico Madrid finished bottom, absolutely mudded. I think Inter Milan are probably slight favourites. We'll have to wait and see. You know, Inter Milan proved in their group knocking out Barcelona. You know, even though they did it in quite a way where, I wouldn't say the Housley word. I'm not going to swear. But you can say that Barcelona were very unlucky. But let's see if Inter Milan can continue riding that luck. They're a very good team besides that anyways. But so are Porto. Everyone's talking about Benfica from the Portuguese league, but let's not forget how good this side Porto are. Let's see what happens. I haven't got much to say, but I think Inter Milan have the slight upper hand here. But will we be surprised to see Porto win? Probably not. And lastly, the second biggest tie around in my eyes, PSG, Bayern Munich. This match is capable of being a final. In fact, it was a final back in 2020. I keep saying 2020, but it might be 2021. I hope not. It might be 2021. Nonetheless, actually, not nonetheless. It wasn't 2020. Bayern Munich won 1-0. Kingsley Coman. Anyways, of course, these two Titanic sides, I say Titanic, PSG don't have a Champions League, but on paper, PSG, as you all know, have the best front three in world football: Neymar, Mbappe, Lionel Messi. Let's see if these three can finally break the curse. Because like I be telling people, there's an oil curse about, and Man City and PSG are the biggest victims. One of them will one day break the curse, probably. Because I can't lie, there are many things that are inevitable in football. Is Man City or PSG winning Champions League one of them? They've been trying so hard, maybe. We always know the historical edge that, having a glorified past in history, decorated with European trophies can give you. Real Madrid can attest to that in their campaign last season. Nonetheless, I say Bayern Munich. When I say Bayern Munich are the slight favourites, they finally are in charge of their group. I say their group in charge of the league. PSG been in charge of the league. PSG in a fantastic form. Haven't lost a game in the league. Haven't lost the Champions League game either. Christophe Gaultier, has done a great job replacing Pochettino and kind of regulating everybody and getting them playing. But at the same time, Julian Nagelsmann has been under pressure at Bayern, but he's continued to deliver solid results. I would say so. But this one is very tough to tell. If anyone wins, you're going to just not be surprised, are you? Unless it happens the way PSG got knocked out, where they were in control and they threw that away, because guess what? They're cursed. Nonetheless, this tie could go either way. But Bayern Munich have the pedigree, don't they? They do have the pedigree. So if you had to pick one, it will probably be Bayern Munich. Now, I think that's all the games. We're in for an absolute treat. Of course, the Champions League. Hopefully these games live up to the hype. You know what I mean? But thank you all for listening to this episode of Mini Football Logic, and I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're listening on the YouTube. You feel me? It helps a lot. Alright, appreciate you all. See you next episode.